Good evening and welcome again to Two a Day on your Packer Link Up. Tonight is Thursday, August 28th, and you're watching the 10 o'clock edition. Well, I am just come down from the big loss to the Tennessee Titans by 2 points, and I have thrown all my notes aside. I'm going to analyze the game tomorrow. Today, it's about just a few simple things. First thing, I want to give a shout out to Packer Mom who was at that game, and I hope nobody left the stands, but it was the most exciting preseason game I've seen in a long time. So Packer Mom was there. Congratulations for being on site, and we'd love to see your comments on the link up about that game. Secondly, Aaron Rodgers, first play from scrimmage, a 68-yard touchdown pass to Greg Jennings. Wonderful. The safety came over, dove inside on it, going for a pick or a big hit or something. And I have never in my life seen a receiver catch the ball and not once have to run full speed for a touchdown. There was nothing there. It was over. They were playing deep two, cover two, and both the cornerback and the safety were just gone from that play. So Greg Jennings traipsing into the end zone in front of that Lambeau Field crowd, pointing at the other guys from the Titans, saying, "Come on, here I am." Absolutely amazing. So it was to me a bit unfortunate in a sense because then the first string offense was pulled from the game. But this was the kind of game you watched. And as I mentioned in an earlier podcast today, the score really didn't matter because I said don't look out for the Tennessee Titans to go ahead and beat the Packers by a significant amount. And it looked like that was going to happen because our twos and threes played 3.5 quarters of game against their first stringers who played the entire first half and into the third quarter. And so the score didn't matter in this game, but in the end, what a finale. So that's point number 3 for this podcast is that Matt Flynn should be our second string quarterback, period. The guy just flat gets the job done and makes plays when we need them made. He and Craig Lumpkin with a couple of fourth down plays, just excitement in that fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter. And Allen with the big drop in the end zone, but the big catch at the end of the game to bring us to within 2. And then Matt Flynn, who threw a beautiful pass, a nice timing pattern to the corner of the end zone that last year would have been a touchdown, or very well could have been a touchdown because of the forced out rule that is not in effect this year. Made for the most exciting preseason game I've seen in a long time. Those guys that were there to see our second and third stringers. And we talked about the linebacker group that we've got, a bunch of guys playing for their jobs. Those guys played out of their heads. It just was fantastic to see our linebacker in the second and third string, guys that don't necessarily even have a spot on our roster, just going out there and laying the smack on the first and second string of the Tennessee Titans. These are guys that may not have a job as of Saturday. Our linebacker crew, some of the guys, if they do have to get cut, I'm talking about Bishop. I'm talking about, of course, Abdul Hodge, Spencer Havner, Tracy White. These guys are going to get a job somewhere. They deserve one anyway. Just a flat-out smackdown on Tennessee for the most part against Lendale White, who was just eating up. Remember, I mentioned this. The Tennessee Titans were third in total offense in the league so far through 3 preseason games. Third in the league. And I don't know what their totals are. Like I say, I threw all that aside. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow because right now it just looked like there were some guys on our team that played with heart. I'm not even sure that our starting linebackers, played with the kind of heart. Nick Barnett, you saw him miss a big tackle in the open field. We know that Brandon Chiller has not really performed when he's played on that weak side for A.J. Hawk. There were some guys out there just flat out playing. I've got to give a shout out to Mike McCarthy for game planning a good game against, knowing he was going up against starters, really kind of keeping the team within themselves, including the only exception to that, I think, was it seemed like Brian Brom and Matt Flynn really got thrown out there, and I believe that it was a conscious effort by the